Important thing to keep in mind when you're having accountability conversations is to look at your motives first. Why are you having this conversation? And then if the motive is really true and in order to make things better for the organization and make things better for the person, then you have to ask yourself, what exactly is the conversation that you want to have? This is outlined really beautifully in the book Crucial Accountability by Patterson and Grenny and a few other authors. But essentially what it asks you to think about is, what's the conversation? Is it that somebody did something wrong? Is it that there's a pattern of doing something wrong? Maybe a broken promise. They told you they weren't going to do it anymore, and now you're back to Groundhog Day kind of thing where they're doing the same thing over and over again. And you're like, geez, I feel like we already had this conversation. We have to have this conversation again. Be sure that you communicate that clearly to them as part of establishing safety, and then get really clear about what the violation is and what behaviors you need to see instead. So if you can draw a really clear contrast, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I need to see, and then share the natural consequences. As long as you keep doing this, this is going to be, or these are going to be the outcomes, and we need these to be the outcomes, and be really clear about what the steps are between where they are now and where they need to be. And then of course, you need to make sure that they're safe and not so defended that they can't hear you. You can establish safety in the conversation around saying, listen, like, this isn't a firing conversation, for example, or I want you to know that we still appreciate what you do in this, that, and the other, but this is what I need to see changed. Now, in that last example, there's an interesting thing there I wanted you to hear. In the last example that I gave, where you mentioned that you appreciate things about people as part of establishing safety, but that you need something different from them, that's really different than a compliment or criticism sandwich. I've heard this called a zillion different things, like say a good thing, then say a hard thing, say another good thing. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. The hard thing that you need to have changed always gets buried between the two good things. And you're sending a message of good thing, bad thing, good thing, and the average listener would think, well, there were more good things than bad things, so if I can improve the bad thing, okay, but otherwise I got these good things going. So try to avoid that sandwich and instead just say, hey, I just need to talk to you about this one violation, this one thing that you need to do differently, and then dive into that conversation.